So this is what happens when you work as slowly as I do. I've just come out to retrieve the bonnet, and we're excavating it. So here we've got rather a lot of wings, and it's time to make some design choices. So this is one of the original wings that came off. This is where I drove into a skip, and that one is a bit poorly. So these Series 3 wings, I'm going to take the electrics out and use those. And the two Series 2 wings right at the back here are probably the ones I'm going to use. I might just take the indicators off of these. They're not looking great. Yeah. Anyway, let's get them all up to the workshop. Right, see you back inside. Right, this is cosy. Okay, so I can't do any more on the electrics until I put the wings back on, and I'm going to do that tomorrow when it's not lashing down with rain, hopefully, and I'll be able to push the landy outside and do it with a bit of space. So in the meantime, I'm going to get on with doing a bit of work inside the cab here. Now this is an example of where you've got a bit of choice for your restoration. So here it's some rust. Let's zoom in and show you what I'm on about. So this lot here is on the inside of the air vents. So what would you put at the top of the dashboard? Anyway, this is where the seals have failed over the years, and there's been a bit of water leaking in. So this is all surface rust. It's nothing to worry about, but it is unsightly. Now, on the last bulkhead that I worked on, I just stripped the entire bulkhead and I shot blasted it. This is back when I had the shot blasting equipment up and running. So I shot blasted it, welded it all up, and then I got the thing galvanised. Now obviously this restoration is with the bulkhead on the vehicle, so I can't really go that far with it. And to be honest, it doesn't really need it. I've done all the structural work, done all the welding it needs doing. So when it comes to this, yeah, it'd be lovely to take off all the paint, strip it back and redo it, but yeah, it's not going to happen. So the next best thing to completely stripping it, blasting it and so forth, is to get rid of as much rust as possible. So I'm going to go over this with a wire brush, just a hand wire brush, because the angle grinder wire brush will yeah, lead to disaster, I think, in the confined space here. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to use some of this stuff. This is rust converter. Now, there's a lot of misconceptions about this. It comes in many brand names. The Hammerite version, or Finnegan's, whatever they're called these days, is called Crust. There's a Gelolite version as well. Wherever you are in the world, there's a local version of this stuff. So it basically converts iron 3 oxide, which is rust, into iron 1 oxide, which is not rust. I think, as far as I'm aware, it's a weak phosphoric acid. I think that's what does the job. Now, the thing is, when you use this, you can only use it on surface rust. It's going to do nothing. Any flaky stuff will still be flaky, just as flaky when you put this on. So you've got to clean it as much as possible. Then use this. And today's tip for the day is don't use it from the container, because you'll contaminate the container. So put it in something else. I'm going to use a convenient soup pot that I drank the soup out of and cleaned. So pour a little bit in there, use that, and then throw the rest away. Throw the rest of this away, not this. As it goes on, everything will go black, and then it dries, and then you need to prime it straight away, because otherwise it'll just go rusty again. Kind of like when you've had something freshly blasted, you've blasted off the outer layer of oxide there, and you've left it exposed to the elements. Well, a similar sort of thing will happen if I just paint over that with this, and then leave it. It will go rusty fairly promptly. So whereas what you see here, this surface rust, it will stay like that, you know, pretty much indefinitely unless I put it back out in the rain. Right, I'm going gloves on for this operation. I don't think this stuff's particularly bad for you, but I've got a vague memory that it stains your fingers, so. And just beware, whatever brush you use, you'll be throwing it away, so don't use the best one from your painting set. So just liberally apply it to everywhere where there's visible orange, and you'll see it rapidly change the orange into sort of black purple. Think of it as a wash rather than a paint. So if you get it on thinly enough, it won't leave a visible layer into the subsequent coats, is what I'm trying to say. I don't think I've mentioned yet what I'm actually heading for with this restoration. What I'm planning to do is to use this for about a year and then sell it, by which time I'm hoping to have the big Land Rover on the road, which is going to be my keepy. The whole point of this restoration is to produce something that's structurally sound, mechanically sound. Cosmetically I'm not so bothered about, because yeah, I imagine that this will be bought by some enthusiast who'll then go on and, you know, he can do all the accessorizing, all the tidying up bits. Okay, here we are after it's probably been an hour or even 2 hours. It's not dry yet, but you can see there's a lot of colour change. So the point I wanted to make here, let's zoom in and show you what I'm on about. So you can see most of this is dry here, but there's still some puddles that are milky coloured, so they'll obviously need to dry off before I can do any priming. There's still a bit of brown in here, so yeah, I'll give it another coat on there because I'm going to have to leave it overnight now anyway for the puddly bits to dry off. So yeah, I might as well just work in the whole thing. Should be a bit more conversion going on there. So I think another coat will sort that out, and then come back in the morning and prime it.